Namaskar, this is CVR English and it's time to roll the prime time sense above sensation with me, Anukriti Sharma. Let's kickstart tonight's prime time by shifting focus to the national capital. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, accompanied by his wife Sunita Kejriwal, former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia and AAP MP Sanjay Singh visited the Hanuman Mandir in Connaught Place to offer their prayers today. Now, this visit comes a day after Kejriwal's release from Tihar jail, viewers, following the Supreme Court's grant of bail in the Delhi excise policy case. The visit to the temple was marked by a sense of relief and gratitude as Kejriwal and his associates sought divine blessings following the recent legal developments. Here's a report. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his desire for every child in Jammu and Kashmir to have access to quality education. He also highlighted that the BJP government had inaugurated several schools and colleges in the region over the past few years to improve the opportunities for the youth of that region. Modi ji also noted that the BJP government had recently fulfilled the long-standing demand for a medical college in Doda. Here's a report.
ने पूरे हरियाणा को विकास की धारा से जोड़ा है। भाजपा सरकार आने से पहले हरियाणा के आधे घरों में नल कनेक्शन नहीं था। आज हरियाणा में करीब करीब 100% नल कनेक्शन वाला ये राज्य बन रहा है। साथियों, भाजपा की सरकार देश में गरीब और मध्यम वर्ग के लिए बिजली का बिल जीरो करने में जुटी है। और इसके लिए हमने पीएम सूर्यघर मुफ्त बिजली योजना शुरू की है। इसके तहत केंद्र सरकार हर परिवार को, यहां बैठे हुए सबको कहता हूं, मोदी है, मौका मत जाने दीजिए। और हरियाणा का तो मुझ पर विशेष अधिकार है भाई। हर परिवार को करीब 80,000 रुपये की मदद दी जा रही है। इस देश में कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ, एक एक परिवार के लिए 80,000 रुपया। और डबल इंजन की सरकार का कमाल देखिए। मोदी ने तो कहा मैं 80,000 लूंगा, इसमें हरियाणा के हमारे भाजपा के लोगों ने तय किया है हरियाणा के हर घर को 30,000 रुपए की मदद यहां की सरकार एक्स्ट्रा यानी 1,10,000। साथियों, आपकी कमाई बढ़े, आपके पैसे बचे, ये भाजपा सरकार की बड़ी प्राथमिकता है। साथियों, हरियाणा ने हमेशा से मुझे बहुत प्यार दिया है। यहां के दूध, दही, हरियाणा की रोटी और माताओं बहनों के स्नेह का कर्ज चुकाना मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल है। इतना बड़ा कर्ज मुझ पर है।
In response to the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital rape murder case, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamatabanerjee has now reached the Swasthya Bhavan in Kolkata to meet the protesting doctors. Take a look at this report.
আমি আপনাদের ছাত্রছাত্রীদের অনুরোধ করব, আপনারা এরকম করলে স্ট্যাম্পিড হয়ে যাবে। তাহলে আমাকে বাইরে বেরিয়ে যেতে হবে, কিন্তু আমি আপনাদের কাছে থেকে অনুরোধ করতে এসেছি, দয়া করে চুপ করে আপনারা যদি আমাকে বলতে দেন আমি খুশি হব। আমি অনেক ভাবে চিন্তা করেই আমি ছাত্র আন্দোলন থেকে উঠে আসা লোক, আমি আন্দোলনের ব্যথা বুঝি, আমি আন্দোলনকে সমর্থন করি। আমি আপনাদের বাইরের মাইকটা একটু বন্ধ করুন না, দয়া করে বাইরের মাইকটা বন্ধ করুন, কন্ট্রাডিকশন হচ্ছে।
Meanwhile, in Shimla, Sunni, a large number of people gathered to hold a protest over the ongoing Sanjoli Mosque row. The controversy surrounding the construction and the legality of the mosque in Sanjoli has sparked several tensions in the local community viewers, leading to this demonstration. The protesters voiced their concerns, demanding a clarity on the mosque's construction, calling for adherence to legal norms, and also expressing their apprehensions about the impact on the overall communal harmony. Authorities are closely monitoring the situation to ensure that the protest remains as peaceful as possible and that the concerns raised by the public are addressed in accordance with the law. The Sanjoli Mosque issue has become a focal point of local disputes, with various groups expressing differing opinions on this matter, leading to growing tensions. The authorities may soon make further announcements or decisions to resolve this matter. In Ayodhya, prominent religious leaders such as Mahant Girish Pati Tripathi of the Teen Kalash Tiwari Temple, Mahant Sitaram Das of Saket Bhavan Temple and Saint Div Kadacharya from the Leela Bihari Temple have spoken out rather lashed in response to the recent statements by MP Kota Srinivas Pujari. Pujari, who is a political leader from Karnataka, accused the Karnataka government of attempting to curb the Hindu festivals, linking this issue to the ongoing Shimla-Moscow controversy. The saints and the religious leaders from Ayodhya have also expressed their concerns over any attempts being made to restrict the celebration of these Hindu festivals, emphasizing the importance of religious freedom and tradition. They also commented on the broader implications of the mosque controversy in Shimla, supporting the idea that all religious communities should be respected, but without encroaching on the rights and the traditions of the others. Take a look.
देखिए, कर्नाटक सरकार की हिंदू विरोधी, सनातन विरोधी गतिविधियां समाज के सामने स्पष्ट की जा रही है और समाज का एक बड़ा एक वह तबका जो संस्कृति को, धर्म को, भारत को समृद्ध होते नहीं देखना चाहता है, वह लगातार इस तरह के षड्यंत्रों में, इस तरह की साजिश में लगा हुआ है। और जहां पर ये ताकत में है, जैसे कर्नाटक में, तो वहां इनका खेल सबके सामने उजागर हो गया है। यह मूलतः यह लोग सनातन विरोधी हैं, मूलतः यह हमारे देवी देवताओं को नहीं मानने वाले लोग हैं और यह समाज में भ्रम पैदा करके सिर्फ अपने राजनीतिक स्वार्थ को गणेश पूजा की परंपरा तो हमारे आज़ादी के आंदोलन की देन है, श्री बाल गंगाधर तिलक की देन है और जिससे एक सामाजिक एकजुटता और एक सामाजिक संदेश जाता है। ऐसे उत्सवों पे प्रश्न लगाना, ऐसे उत्सवों के प्रति षड्यंत्र करना कितनी घृणित मानसिकता की। राजनीति करिए, कुर्सी सबको चाहिए, अच्छी बात है, लेकिन उसके लिए इस तरह से नहीं गिर जाना चाहिए कि आप अपने परंपराओं को, उत्सवों को ही गर्हित करना।
सरकार हिंदू त्योहारों पर अंकुश लगाने की कोशिश करे। भाजपा विधायक ने दावा किया है नागमंगला घटना में पुलिस ने भगवान गणेश के शिष्यों पर मामला दर्ज किया, जबकि पथराव करने वालों को छोड़ दिया है। कर्नाटक सरकार पर हिंदू त्योहारों पर अंकुश लगाने के लिए अपनी राजनीति लागू करने का आरोप लगाया है।
निश्चित रूप से कांग्रेस की जो दूषित मानसिकता है, एक विशेष संप्रदाय का वो पक्षधर है वो आज से नहीं, प्रारंभ से ही उनके नेहरू खानदान से ही जितने भी लोग कांग्रेस के सत्ता सरकार में रहे वो निश्चित रूप से विशेष संप्रदाय का पक्षधर है, क्योंकि उनके डीएनए में खोट है। इसलिए कर्नाटक सरकार ने हमारे हिंदू त्योहारों पर अंकुश लगाने का जो कोशिश कर रहा है, कोशिश नाकाम नहीं होगा, क्योंकि हिंदू अब एकजुट हो चुका है। लगातार देखिए कि जो है कांग्रेस सरकार की ऐसी मानसिकता है कि वो विशेष संप्रदाय के ही पक्षधर रहते हैं, टोपी पहनना और टोपी पहनाने के काम करते हैं। जब समय समय पर जो है भेष बदलते रहते हैं, गिरगिट की तरह रंग बदलते रहते हैं।
दावा किया है नागमंगला घटना में पुलिस ने भगवान गणेश के पुस्तक पर mamatabanerjee व्यक्ति प्रचार करने वालों को छोड़ दिया है। इसमें सांसद कोटा चुनाव तैयारी कर्नाटक सरकार से अंकुश लगाने के लिए अतिरिक्त अनुमति करने का आरोप लगाया। हमारे क्या कहना है?
देखिए, कर्नाटक सरकार की हिंदू विरोधी, सनातन विरोधी गतिविधियां अब समाज के सामने स्पष्ट होती जा रही हैं।
Shifting focus now to the ongoing US presidential campaign, let's talk about Kamala Harris and whether she can beat Donald Trump. She's the former Attorney General of California, a former US Senator, and the current Vice President, and the last minute pick to be the Democratic Party's presidential candidate after Joe Biden dropped out. The old era is over and the new era is here. Viewers, it is go time. And if she wins, Kamala Harris would become the first woman, the first black woman, and also the first South Asian American to hold the top job in America. So how has Kamala Harris shaken up this race? What are the big issues that are playing out in her campaign? And what are her chances of winning the election on November 5th? Well, so far, if you have been following up on the US presidential election campaign, it's been a crazy election cycle already overall. We've had one candidate convicted of a felony, a rather disastrous presidential debate, an assassination attempt, and an incumbent president pulling out of the race. Kamala Harris replacing Joe Biden is the latest twist of them all. And it's only injected new momentum into the Democratic Party's campaign. A clear sign of that was all the donations that poured in the first 36 hours after Biden also endorsed Harris. 1.1 million people uniquely donated to the campaign in that time frame, 36 hours. And 62% of those 1.1 million donors, that's the first time they gave this election cycle to the presidential campaign. And viewers, you can see a lot of that excitement online already. So there is this big buzz around Harris, but all the polls so far suggest it's going to be a super tight race nevertheless. The question for the Democrats is whether they can turn that enthusiasm into enough votes and also in the right places. Because let's remind ourselves what it actually takes to win a presidential election in the US. It doesn't necessarily come down to getting the most votes overall. It's all about what's called the Electoral College. You see, every state has an assigned number of Electoral College votes, and the results in each state determine how many of those votes go to each candidate. 270 is the majority. So that's the number of viewers the candidates are chasing to win. Now, some states pretty much always go to the Republicans, the so-called red states, and others reliably go to the Democrats, the so-called blue states. Then there are the states that tend to swing between the two parties, and they are the key to getting that figure of 270. Now, in these elections, there are 7 main ones which both campaigns will focus on. So how could Harris, do it? Well, here are 2 major factors that are playing out into her campaign. Let's start with the age factor. The issue that 81-year-old Biden just couldn't shake off. Kamala Harris happens to be 59. So, one of the biggest vulnerabilities for the Democrats has now become a strength. Donald Trump, who's 78, has now suddenly become the old guy in this contest. And one of the Republicans' main lines of attack just isn't relevant anymore. It also seems that Kamala Harris has captured the imagination of a lot of young people, a really important voting bloc. She was labeled a brat by the pop star Charlie XCX. FYI, Brat is also the name of her latest album, and it's becoming quite a trending meme about being a little chaotic and just being yourself. And Gen Z has run with it. And there are signs that that energy is translating into something tangible during these US presidential election campaigns. Right after Harris entered the race, there was a spike in voter registrations, and more than 80% were between 18 and 34. Young people who kind of felt disengaged from the entire process were suddenly thinking, you know what, I feel like voting again. That said, the Trump campaign is also trying to reach out to its young voters. And Trump's pick for vice president is actually younger than Harris. Next up is what we are calling the woman factor. And there are few things to untangle here, viewers. First is to remember that women voters are another important demographic for any candidate, especially in those swing states that we were speaking about. Having said that, Donald Trump has already beat a woman to the White House, Hillary Clinton, if you remember, back in 2016. And plenty of women still do support Trump. But a few things have changed since he ran against Clinton, including the fact that he's been found liable for sexual abuse in a civil trial. Trump did weaponize gender and gender norms against Hillary Clinton. We are not sure he'll be able to do that successfully this term, primarily because he's been convicted of sexual assault. And then there's the issue of reproductive rights. Polls show that access to abortion is a big concern for a lot of voters, especially for women, particularly for women. And Kamala Harris has been a leading voice on that issue for the Democrats. You see, back in 2022, the Supreme Court overturned a landmark case, Roe v. Wade, which had protected abortion as a constitutional right for women. It was something that many of the Republican politicians had been pushing for, and they had been doing so for years. And it was the judges appointed by Trump while he was president, while he was the sitting president, that swung this decision, leading to abortion bans in many Republican-led states. Reproductive freedoms could decide these elections. The fact, viewers, please note, the fact that a woman now is the top of the ticket, and this is one of her key issues as well, is going to attract many women across the United States of America, whether they are Republican or Democrat. All said and done, the Democratic Party has united around their new presidential candidate Kamala Harris after Joe Biden decided to drop out. Harris has now injected new energy into the party and the campaign, but it looks set to be a very tight race against Donald Trump. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the top story for tonight, and that also brings me to the wrap of this edition of the Primetime News Hour. I am going to see you again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, Jai Hind, Namaskar, and keep watching CVR English.